right. Well, speaking of things floating around in zero G, see, I managed to make our transition to Witch Watch work.
Yes. By the way, try saying that title 5 times fast.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Right. So, yes, it's yet another seasonal anime. And I bet I can hear some of you out there groaning. Oh no. It's another slice of life show that doesn't have a strong driving plot. I bet you DB was bored or annoyed. Well, nuts to you, because this show is delightful.
Yes.
This show is actually what I want from this sort of nonsense.
Yes, yes. Yes, it's a very, very cute cute romantic comedy, supernatural show.
And it's got a very basic premise, actually a little bit like Bewitched now that I think about it.
But oh yeah, it is. Yeah.
Or at least like what causes the plot to happen every episode is similar. The actual setup is very different.
Yeah.
It's always interesting with a lot of these storylines, the genre you choose or the genre you end up in is entirely based on what elements you want to go with. Because you could have very easily also turned this into like a battle manga if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Witch Watch is the story of Nico, the witch, and her childhood friend Morihito, who has the blood of ogres in him. And when they were children, there were problems because of her witch powers. So she went off to train for a while. And there are also problems because of Morihito's ogre strength almost getting somebody killed. And so he spent years refining his skills. And now that they're in high school, they have reunited, and by amazing anime law coincidence, they are living under the same roof with no parental supervision whatsoever.
Yeah.
Funny how this always works.
Yes. Yeah. Well, you've got to have that. Got to have funny, wacky premises somehow, and it makes it a lot easier when there's no adult supervision around.
Exactly. It's like how why are there so many orphans in fiction? Well, there's probably some Jordan Peterson style explanations deep in the psyche of trying to find the place you belong. But I think just like from a nuts and bolts level, it's much easier for the hero to go off and have adventures if there isn't an adult expecting them home by dinner.
Yeah.
But
very true. Yeah.
Like I was saying, this could have very easily been a battle manga because the first episode is actually a lot more dour than the other episodes we watched, just because they go into like, the witches were, they were abused at some point, and Morihito carries a heavy burden because of his magical nature.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but then the other 2 episodes that we watched were just completely, comedies.
Yep. Right. Not mixed like the first episode, just very pure comedies.
Yeah.
And a lot of that is okay. So visual element I want to bring up that I thought was neat before I forget about it.
Yeah.
You notice how Morihito kind of has this like one spike in his hair?
Oh yeah, almost like alfalfa.
Yeah. So I realized it when I was seeing him and his dad side by side. So his dad has two horn-like projections in his hair on the side of his head, and Morihito has one. That's supposed to be like the hair is like emulating an ogre horn, like you see in Japanese media.
Oh, okay. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah,
it's not just it's not just like a funny design choice.
Right. Like let me pull up a example here. This isn't exactly classical Japanese art, but I believe it's supposed to be reminiscent of this type of thing.
Okay.
Because I do very commonly see depictions with like one ogre with 2 horns and one with one. So
okay.
I think it's also like the red oni, blue oni thing, but I'm not I can recognize that it's a reference, but I couldn't tell you which was supposed to be which because it's been forever since I actually heard the story.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no problem.
That's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
So Nico drives the storyline because she knows a lot of spells, but all the spells have incredibly specific drawbacks that she never thinks of before she actually casts the spell.
Yeah, yeah, like in the they're when they're reunited, she bursts through the window of his back door, and she's like, "Well, I'll just put it back together." And then she's like, "Do you have anything I can use?" And like, "Oh yeah, I got this." His favorite coffee, favorite coffee mug, and she puts the window back together, but then the coffee mug breaks.
Right? It's like she sacrificed the feelings of attachment that resided in the mug to repair the window.
Yeah.
Or like say in another episode, oh, she wants to copy a dress she saw in a magazine, so she uses a spell to copy it, but the spell can only copy what it can see in the photo. So the back half of her dress is totally transparent, so she has to crab walk around to keep Morihito from seeing her butt.
Yeah. Spoiler alert, she fails.
Yeah. um, what I'll say is that it is kind of charming just to see that Morihito is kind of a grump, but as like he makes sense why he's a grump, considering that he's always really had to restrict himself.
Yeah.
Uh, Nico is the one who very clearly, like, not just clearly, like, she blatantly has a crush on him. Like she
Yeah.
sees him for the first time after they're reuniting and goes, "Wow, he turned out hot."
Yeah. She's clearly making hints and advances to him, and he's just like, oh, whatever.
Yep. Um, so it is just kind of a cute romance that way. Um, third episode had a bit of a fight, though I suspect it's going to be a character who just ends up on the periphery. That's where this type of anime comedy lives or dies, is how well it integrates new characters. It's almost like it's kind of funny how predictable the pattern is, because it's like, the first couple episodes you focus on the main two characters, then you start slowly adding characters one at a time.
Mm-hmm.
And the deciding factor for how it's good as it is, are any of the characters horribly annoying, and or are there any characters that you wish had been introduced sooner, who would have, because their dynamic is fun, but you only get like 3 episodes with them.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's not really a whole lot to analyze here. It's available on Crunchyroll with both. Well, actually, it's got a German dub. Although to my annoyance, I almost wanted to watch that just to see how much high school German I remembered with subtitle assistance. But on Crunchyroll, you can't combine German text with English subtitles for some reason.
That's
what if it's a PAL NTSC thing?
Yeah, probably. It is. The English dub is on there.
Yep. I tried both the English dub and the Japanese. I think I ended up preferring the Japanese. At first, I found Nico's voice kind of high pitched and grating. And then I watched the first episode with someone else and didn't mind it at all. So I think you're fine with whatever choice you go with.
Yeah.
If you go from like a 5-point weeb scale, where 1 is you barely notice it comes from Japan, and 5 is like all the humor is based on alternate readings of lines from poems from the 17th century that school children know about. I would put it at a 2, mostly because they actually have a lot of references to other Shonen Jump series, and unlike a lot of Japanese media where they feel the need to bleep out when they say the name of something, it's like they can just say, like, she casts a spell that creates an anti-gravity field, and some of the nerds are flying around, and the nerds are flying around pretending they're in Dragon Ball, and they're doing like poses of different characters like Piccolo and Goku as they fly around and things like that.
Yeah.
Like they have a weeb teacher who makes a lot of references to Shonen Jump series.
Oh yeah. Didn't they make a Naruto reference, or was I imagining that?
I might have missed one, but it's I know. I think they made like a reference to the guy who was following them around in the 3rd episode being like Naruto.
Okay.
I don't recall entirely. I think you're. I think there was one in there.
Okay.
There's like I do remember like Hunter x Hunter specifically, and when they had like the big collection of manga they had to move around, they rattled off a lot of like 80s and 90s series.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah, that part was funny when she splits herself first she splits herself in two, thinking that moving the boxes will take less time, but so no, she needs both of them to move, and then she
Right,
splits herself
right.
in
Because
four.
when she makes a duplicate of herself, she can't create new matter for it, so she just ends up splitting herself in half, everything including her intelligence.
Yeah.
So there's like two short versions, and the guy's like, "What are you doing? This isn't more efficient. You still have to both work together to move one box."
Yeah. He just ends up moving them all anyway.
Yeah,
Uh,
just a fun, charming show.
yeah, indeed.